Good evening. Linda, could you please give the invocation?
In 2 Timothy 3:16a, it says, "All Scripture is inspired by God and is profitable for teaching." Thank you, Lord, for your Scriptures, which are divine directions and guidance that will profit us and be a benefit and advantage for each one of us. Lord, thank you for this appointed time tonight and this gathering together of your people who are dedicated to working together as they make informed decisions for the betterment of this community and for all citizens living here. Father, help us all to listen to each other so we can be better informed and so we can be of better service to each other. In James 1:19 it says, "Understand this, dear brothers and sisters, you must all be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry." Lord, we have never before seen so much difficulty and oppression going on in the world today and going on in the lives of individuals. Every day feels like a new and daunting challenge. Help us to listen before reacting. Help us to quiet our urge to share our opinions and thoughts until we have heard all sides of a discussion. And help us to curb our emotions and pay attention to the emotions that are overwhelming our brothers and sisters around us. Father, we look to you and put you foremost in our hearts and minds, for how can we pray for each other and trust in your intervention if we keep our hearts and minds full of everything but you? Father, be with each one here tonight and throughout the coming weeks. Bless the works of their hands, bless the cares of their hearts, and bless the inward thoughts of their minds. Keep everyone here safe and protected, especially those who are in situations that may be hurtful or harmful. Be with each listening ear and pour yourself fully and deeply into each life. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Linda. So now that it's 6 o'clock, we'll officially call this city council meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you please take the roll?
Mayor Miller.
Here.
Alderpersons Borneman. McClanathan.
Present.
Ross.
Present.
Parker.
Present.
Busker.
Present.
Brashaw.
Present.
Mysick.
Present.
And Alderperson Berberay is absent tonight. Manager Bucas.
Present.
Directors Richter. Hines. Chiefs Summers and Liggett. Director Sutman. Huffines. Clerk Anderson is present, and Attorney Zito.
Thank you. Next, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. If you could please stand and join us, led by my grandson Brody and Alderman Parker.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Your Honor,
Yes.
sorry, I meant to mention earlier, could we have a moment of silence for the police chaplain? Dennis Jared was killed in an auto accident the other day. And he's been the chaplain at the police department for quite a while.
Yeah, actually, I'm totally on your page, Alderman Parker. In fact, I was going to ask Chief Summers if he'd like to say a few words.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Friday was a very, very sad day at the police department. Our police chaplain, Dennis Gerard, who served at the police department since 2009 as a volunteer, was tragically killed in a motorcycle accident outside of Durand. Dennis had been at the police department and worked with us, beside us. He sat in the squad cars with us. He's cried with us. He's prayed with us. He's married some of us. He's going to be sorely missed. And I just ask that we all keep Dennis in our prayers, his wife Donna, and their family. It's just not a loss to the police department. It's a loss to the entire community because he did so much, just not for the police department, but for the entire community. So, thank you.
Please join us for a moment of silence. Thank you. Item number 1 is the approval of the agenda. However, this evening we will be removing item number 11 and number 15 for further investigation of what that all entails before we present those things to the City Council, as well as there is no executive session tonight. So with that being said, is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion made by Alderman Busker, seconded by Alderman Misick. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. We also have number 2 is approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting from May 3rd, 2021. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion made by Alderman Parker, seconded by Alderman McClanathan. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes as well. Public comments, there is no one signed up with agenda items, so we'll move on. And before we move to item number 4, which is the swearing in, we'd like to give a moment for Alderman McClanathan and Alderman Brashaw to say a few things, since this evening is their last time of participation on the council. We had a reception at 5 o'clock for those of you that were not able to join us, but just in honoring and thanking them for their service. So I just wanted to give them a few moments to be able to say from their heart some things that they would like to. So Alderman Brashaw, if you would like to have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening to everyone, including our listening public tonight. I want to thank you for allowing me to serve as your 6th Ward alderperson. Thank you for trusting me to make some difficult decisions along with the other council members and helping me understand complex issues that need attention in our city. Over the past 8+ years, many changes have occurred. Most of them have been positive. I have worked with 3 different mayors and 2 city managers. No one in these council chambers was here in their position back on the day that I was sworn in. At that time, George Gallrep appointed me to fulfill a remainder of a term. While I don't agree with every policy decision, I have made diligent effort to stand my cause during our process of legislation. I want to thank you to our 2 new alderpersons, Greg Shadle and James Monroe, for having the courage and fortitude to run a successful campaign. Believe it or not, that was the easy part. You will hopefully have many years of challenges and positive changes that go along with legislating. Also, you will have your ward with its body of constituents that you must answer to. The best advice that I received was from a group of attorneys who spoke at Illinois Municipal League back in 2013. Legislative bodies act at meetings. Your main duty as an alderman is to act and to speak up if you have questions or opinions based on fact. It is okay for a vote not to be unanimous. Split votes are also okay. Just make sure to be respectful and do not personally attack others. It is okay to have opposing views, and you will. But it's also okay to change your mind on an issue before voting on it. It is imperative to focus on doing what is best for your community as a whole and not just for a specific ward. To all the council seated here tonight, thank you for doing your civic duty and standing up for your values. Thank you, Mayor Miller, Manager Bucas, Clerk Anderson, Counselor, and all of our department heads who are here with us. We don't always show our appreciation, but we want you to know that you are valued. Lastly, thank you to my husband. We met at a city council meeting many years ago. He's not always privy to all of my thoughts, but he always has my back. And he also rubs my back when I've been completely stressed out. For that and much more, I am very grateful. Thank you, Freeport, for allowing me to serve you.
Thank you, Alderman Brashaw. Alderman McClanathan?
Thank you. Friends and colleagues, it's a pleasure to speak to you one last time here, and I will follow Alderperson Bradshaw's example and keep the comments brief, because I think the temptation a lot of times is to view these as like as important as Washington's farewell address, and obviously it's not. So, but that said, I do want to say thank you to my family for the sacrifices. Thank you to the constituents of the Second Ward for trusting me in 2 elections to be in this position. I've always appreciated that privilege and that honor. And I want to say thank you to everyone in here, from the council level to the mayor, to the administration, and all the department heads. A lot of good memories. I'm not going to rehash everything that we've gone through over the last 6 years, but I do look back fondly on a lot of the challenges we've had, a lot of the changes that we've had. The friendships made, the interactions with constituents, those meetings behind the scenes, the meetings behind closed doors when it happened on there, and a lot of the things that came out of that. When reflecting on it, there's been a lot that's happened. However, this night is about a new council and a new 8 individuals moving forward with the mayor, Madam Clerk, and Manager Bucus and all the department heads here. I'm excited to see what comes out of the next 4 years with everyone. I'm excited to see the new alderpersons take their seats, and I hope that you take that energy and excitement that you have in regards to that seat and just bring it forward and don't lose it over the next 4 years as you're going through. And with that said, you all know how to get a hold of me. If there's ever anything we need to talk about, I won't have a vote, but I'll still be around, and I'd be more than happy to talk with anybody about anything at any of this time. But most of all, I look forward to seeing the ways that you all move Freeport forward over the next 4 years. And thank you for the opportunity to serve with you all.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Peter. With that, we will go on to item number 4. Which is the swearing in by the Honorable Michael P. Bald, presiding judge for the 15th Judicial Circuit Court of Illinois. Sure.
If you would, raise your right hand, please. Repeat after me. I, Jody Miller,
I, Jody Miller,
having been elected to the office of mayor in the city of Freeport,
in the city of Freeport,
in the county of Stevenson,
in the county of Stevenson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of mayor
the duties of the office of mayor
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, thank you. Next, W. Anderson. Will you raise your right hand? Repeat after me. I, W. L. Anderson,
I, Debbie L. Anderson,
having been elected to the office of city clerk
to the office of city clerk
in the city of Freeport,
in the city of Freeport,
in the county of Stevenson,
in the county of Stevenson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of city clerk. I
Of
keep
city
tripping over
clerk.
that, sorry. You can tell why. According to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
James Monroe. James. Good to see you, Judge.
See you, sir.
If you would, raise your right hand and then repeat after me. I, James R. Monroe,
I, James R. Monroe,
having been elected
having been elected
to the office of Alderman, Second Ward,
to the office of Alderman, Second Ward,
in the city of Freeport,
in the city of Freeport,
Illinois,
Illinois,
in the county of Stevenson,
in the county of Stevenson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Alderman Second Ward
of Alderman Second Ward
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Next, Don Parker. I did. You would raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Donald E. Parker,
I, Donald E. Parker,
having been elected
having been elected
to the office of Alderman, Fourth Ward,
to the office of Alderman, Fourth Ward,
in the city of Freeport,
in the city of Freeport,
Illinois,
Illinois,
in the county of Stevenson,
county of Stevenson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
and that I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Alderman, Fourth Ward,
of Alderman, Fourth Ward,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Finally, Shadle? Greg, how are you? I worked with you a little while. Yeah, it's been a while. If you would raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Gregory B. Shadle,
I, Gregory B. Shadle,
having been elected
having been elected
to the office of Alderman, Sixth Ward,
to the office of Alderman, Sixth Ward,
in the city of Freeport, Illinois,
in the city of Freeport, Illinois,
in the county of Stevenson,
in the county of Stevenson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Alderman, Sixth Ward,
of Alderman, Sixth Ward,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Alderman.
Thank you, Judge. Item number 5 is Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Mayor Miller,
Here.
Alderpersons Borneman,
Here.
Monroe,
Here.
Ross,
Here.
Parker,
Here.
Busker,
Here.
Shadle,
Here.
Mysick,
Here.
and Berberay is absent.
Item number 6 is the consent agenda. All the items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and acted as one motion unless there's a member of the council that would like to have something removed for further discussion. Is there anything, council? Seeing none, we have on the consent agenda the approval to receive and place on file the boards and commission minutes from the Freeport Police Pension Funds from January 26, 2021, the Firefighters Pension Fund from January 26, 2021, the Zoning Board of Appeals, April 1st, 2021, and building permit reports from April 2021. Also is the approval of the finance bills payable in the total of $667,266.48, and the approval of payroll for pay period ending May 8th, 2021, in the total of $545,320.31. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion made by Alderman Parker, seconded by Alderman Busker. Madam Clerk, could you please take the roll?
Parker,
Aye.
Busker,
Aye.
Shadle, Mysick,
Aye.
Borneman,
Aye.
Monroe,
Aye.
and Ross.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
All right. Got a few proclamations that I'd like to read in honor of some of our departments. First, the fire department, if you want to have your gentlemen that are here tonight and stand as well. And we also have a proclamation for the police department and public works. The proclamation reads, whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas emergency medical services has grown to fill the gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. And whereas the emergency medical service system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of the emergency medical services team, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continued education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of our emergency medical service providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now therefore, I, Jody Miller, Mayor of the City of Freeport, by the authority vested in me, do hereby declare May 16th through the 22nd of 2021 as Emergency Services Week in the City of Freeport, with the EMS strong theme, "This is EMS, caring for our communities." Thank you, Chief. And we'd like to give you an opportunity to say a few words concerning that.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate this proclamation in recognition of our, we appreciate the proclamation in recognition of all the work that our firefighters and paramedics do in the community. We have a great partnership with FHN Hospital and our resource hospital, Swedish American Hospital, that provides our medical direction and continuing education. We have incredible partnerships with our mutual aid partners in the community, and then also with our local police department, which we have a cooperative relationship for providing their specialized units with medical support. So through the years, if you remember Emergency, and back in the 70s, that show called Emergency with Johnny Gage and Roy DeSoto, and you watched the evolution of emergency medicine when that occurred. The expectation for emergency medical services dramatically increased as a result of that show. People came to know what a paramedic was. And if you remember during that show, it was a requirement of those medics to call into the hospital and get orders and make sure that they were following the protocols, and they had to transmit EKGs to the hospital in order to get permission to use the skills that they were taught. Fast forward 40 years to where we are right now, where we have very advanced protocols. We're carrying over 40 medications. We have pacemakers on our ambulance. We have monitors that can tell us how much carbon dioxide is that you're breathing out. We have defibrillators that we can utilize. We have CPR machines and advanced airways and all of these things that can be done with protocol. Very few of our modalities we have to call in to medical direction to conduct those skills. So the evolution of EMS and the proven track record of saving lives and making a difference in our community through the performance of these gentlemen and all the folks that came before us. So I'm very proud of them. I'm proud of all the work that we do here, and I'm very thankful to the community for your support through donations for the Lucas devices and supporting the paramedic program, the council for all the support that you do every year to make sure that we can provide the absolute best care and improve quality of life for our community. So thank you again very much for this proclamation. I'd like to introduce firefighter paramedic Schwartman and firefighter EMT Cantu. They're on 17. Yeah, they're on One Boy 17, which is over on Adams Street today. Everybody else was out and busy running calls, so they weren't able to join us tonight, but we got at least one crew here. So thank you, gentlemen, for being here, and thank you again for your dedication and service.
Thank you. Chief Summers, can you join me, please? So although, Chief, this is a week late, it doesn't, it's simply because we didn't have council meeting last week, it was committee of the whole, but it doesn't lessen the sincerity behind the words of this proclamation. Whereas in 1962, President Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Police Officers Memorial Day, and the calendar week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week. And whereas May 15th through May 19th through the 15th is designated as National Police Officers Week in 2021, and the theme is Respect, Honor, Remember. And whereas this week pays special recognition to the police officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty for the safety and the protection of others. And whereas we also honor our law enforcement for their service to the community for safeguarding life and property by protecting citizens against violence and disorder, and where it is important for our citizens to know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices that our men and women in blue face on a daily basis while protecting the citizens as they serve. And whereas the Freeport Police Department plays an essential role in protecting the rights and the freedoms of our community, for which we are forever grateful. And now therefore let it be resolved that I, Jody Miller, Mayor of the City of Freeport, by the authority vested in me, do hereby declare and honor all law enforcement officers by proclaiming May 9th through the 15th as National Police Week. The City of Freeport publicly salutes the service of law enforcement officers in our community for their faithful and loyal service to protect, serve, and encourage citizens in Freeport, to acknowledge and thank our officers, especially during this special week, for their dedication to service. So, Chief, thank you.
Thank you very much. I just want to say thank you for the proclamation. It really does mean a lot to our officers in a time that, for the most part, any attention that's given to law enforcement has been negative. There's the 39 of the best men and women that I know were stationed out of that building over there and have been working incredibly short for the last year and a half, and they've held that line between order and chaos here in our community. And I'm very proud of everything that they've done, and the city should be proud of what they have done also. Thank you.
Thank you. I have one last proclamation. Manager Bucas is going to receive this proclamation on behalf of our Public Works Director, Rob Hoyer. Whereas National Public Works Week is May 16th to the 22nd, 2021, with the theme Stronger Together. And whereas by working together, the impact citizens and public works professionals have on their communities is magnified and results in the ability to accomplish goals once thought unattainable. And whereas Public Works helps maintain a community's strength by working together to provide an infrastructure of service in transportation, water, wastewater, storm water treatment, public building spaces, solid waste, and right-of-way management. Public Works provides togetherness needed for the collaboration with all of the stakeholders in capital projects, infrastructure solutions, and quality of life services. And whereas Public Works services provides to our community are an integral part of our residents' everyday lives, and whereas the health, safety, and comfort of this community greatly depends on our Public Works Department. Now, therefore, I, Jody Miller, Mayor of the City of Freeport, by the authority vested in me, do hereby declare May 16th through the 22nd as National Public Works Week in the City of Freeport, and call upon our citizens to pay tribute to our public works staff and to recognize the substantial contributions that they make in protecting our safety and quality of life. Thank you, Manager Bucas.
Whoa. I'd just like to state that we do have a good Public Works crew, and working together is something that they really do really well. And we're doing a lot of street work right now. We're doing a lot of water and sewer infrastructure improvements that we're tearing a lot of town up right now. But in the long run, it'll be to the benefit of everyone. And It's because we have good employees on our staff that can go out there and get the job done. Thank you.
Okay, item number 8 is reappointments. Madam Clerk, could you please read this for the record?
Reappointment of Forrest Sen to the Liquor Commission, effective until May 31st, 2025. For that same date, there are 2 reappointments to the Liquor Commission, Tim Mahoney and Jeff Davis, and also Mary Kaufman to the Library Board until May 31st, 2024.
If it pleases the council, we'll do this in one motion.
Madam Mayor,
Alderman Busker?
yeah, I'd like to vote on these all separately, just kind of,
Sure, not a problem. So let's, Forrest Sen to the Liquor Commission. Is there a motion for approval for Forrest Sen?
so moved.
We have a motion made by Alderman Busker, seconded by Alderman Parker. Madam Clerk, could you please take the roll?
Parker. Parker?
Aye.
Busker?
Aye.
Shadle? Misick?
Aye.
Borneman?
Aye.
Monroe?
Aye.
And Ross.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Tim Mahoney to the Liquor Commission. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Alderman Parker, seconded by Alderman Busker. Madam Clerk, could you please take the roll?
Parker?
Aye.
Busker?
Aye.
Brashaw? Oh, I've got an old sheet. Shadle?
Aye.
Misick?
Aye.
Borneman?
Aye.
Monroe?
Aye.
And Ross.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. And Jeff Davis to the Liquor Commission. Is there a motion for approval?
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Parker, seconded by Alderman Busker. Madam Clerk, could you please take the roll?
Parker?
Aye.
Shadle?
Aye.
I'm all goofed up. Busker?
Aye.
My apologies. Misick?
Aye.
Borneman?
Aye.
Monroe?
Aye.
Ross?
Aye.
That motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. And then lastly, Mary Kaufman to the Library Board. Is there a motion for approval?
moved.
We have a motion made by Busker, seconded by Parker. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Parker?
Aye.
Busker?
Aye.
Shadle?
Aye.
Misick?
Aye.
Borneman?
Aye.
Monroe?
Aye.
And Ross.
Aye.
That motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Item number 9 is the first reading of ordinance 2021-16. Could you please read this for the record?
Ordinance approving variance for accessory building height at 1906 East Shawnee Street.
Thank you. Director Hines.
Thank you. So staff received a variance application for an accessory structure that is above our minimum height, or maximum height, excuse me. The property is at 1906 East Shawnee Street, and they're asking for it to be 16 and a half feet high when our maximum is it's 15. So this property is, it's zoned R3, so it's residential, but it's different from most of the R3 zoned properties. It's over an acre in size. It's tucked away in the city in a space where it's not going to be a nuisance to neighbors. It does meet all of our standards and all of the LaSalle Sinclair factors for our zoning variance applications. The Zoning Board of Appeals voted 4-0 to recommend approval. And the Planning Commission also voted 7-0 to recommend approval. So we would ask for to move this forward to the next regular council meeting, but I can take any questions right now.
Were there any public comments as far as negative on that?
No, we didn't receive any negative comments
Thank you.
or public comments for it.
Council, any questions for Director Hines?
Madam Mayor,
Alderman Busker?
yeah, when are they looking to start construction of this property?
They would be looking to do it as soon as they can.
Okay. Madam Mayor,
Alderman Busker?
make a motion to move this forward.
Second.
All right, we have a motion made by Alderman Busker, seconded by Alderman Monroe to move ordinance 2021-16 on to the next regularly
Madam
scheduled
Mayor.
meeting. Alderman Busker,
A motion to suspend the rules.
would you like to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a motion to suspend the rules by Alderman Busker, seconded by Alderman Parker. Suspension of the rules is non-debatable and must pass by a 2/3 majority. Madam Clerk, could you please take the roll on suspension of the rules only?
Parker.
Aye.
Busker.
Aye.
Shadle. Misick.
Aye.
Borneman.
Aye.
Monroe.
Aye.
And Ross.
Aye.
The suspension passes 7-0.
So then now before you, council, is final passage for the approval of this ordinance. Are there any questions for Director Hines or discussion before we take that vote? Madam Clerk, would you please take the vote?
Parker.
Aye.
Busker.
Aye.
Shadle. Misick.
Aye.
Borneman.
Aye.
Monroe.
Aye.
And Ross.
Aye.
And the ordinance passes 7-0.
Thank you. Item number 10 is the first reading of ordinance 2021-17. Madam Clerk, would you please read this?
Ordinance approving text amendment to allow cannabis facilities as a special use in the Riverfront Redevelopment District.
Director Hines.
Thank you. So the Riverfront Redevelopment District doesn't currently have the use of adult use cannabis facilities within the zoning district at all. Adult use cannabis businesses of all type are allowed in manufacturing and agricultural districts as a special use, and the Riverfront Redevelopment District is similar enough to these two zoning districts. So our comprehensive plan dated September 20th, 2020 does contemplate the reuse and rehabilitation of the WT Raleigh buildings, which really comprise the Riverfront Redevelopment District. And cannabis facilities are not specifically illustrated in the overview of the possible reuse, but the plan does identify several broad uses, and such as business incubation spaces, specialized retail, and dining. And in addition, the plan recognizes the need to create a unique brand for these buildings. So the allowance of adult use cannabis facilities through a special use permit approval opens up additional opportunities with some oversight and with being able to review those applications that come in. So the properties that are currently zoned RR are the 101 through 122 South Liberty, 123 South Adams Avenue, that is vacant green space, 201 to 203 East Main Street, that's the parking lot for the old Fairgram office, and the old Fairgram office as well. And so the buildings that are zoned RR are partially in what's considered a dispensary restricted area because it's within about 1,500 feet of Amity Daycare and King's Community Center, and within the 300 feet minimum from residentially zoned property. So this text amendment would exempt properties from in the Riverfront Redevelopment District to have those setback requirements from schools, daycares, and residentially zoned properties. Cannabis facilities are highly regulated by the Cannabis Regulation and Tax Act, and facilities require substantial oversight and security in order to operate. And in addition, the proposal to require review through the special use procedure will allow staff, the zoning board, planning commission, and council to see any business that would be operating in these spaces, and would allow you to either approve or not approve those businesses. And so we did have a public hearing for this text amendment last week at the Planning Commission, and we didn't have any objectors. There was a vote 6-1 to recommend approval. But we did have, there was someone there who was in favor of it, but there wasn't anyone who was objecting. And I can take any questions.
So Director Hines, this would not give way for recreational sale, correct? This doesn't make it available for recreational sale.
It would, so the text amendment would allow all of the adult use cannabis uses as a special use, but that would mean that any of the adult use cannabis uses would have to go through zoning board, planning commission, and council before they could operate. So it would, if council wanted to approve a dispensary to operate there, then they could.
But that doesn't include in this for a dispensary. This is for it does include a dispensary?
Yeah, it would include all of the, every single adult use cannabis use. So it would include the dispensaries, the growing facilities, and the other facilities. I have the list in here.
Mayor,
Alderman Borneman?
there's a potential business moving in and they're to this area which stemmed this amendment, and that is not a cannabis dispensary, correct?
So there is a potential business who would like to locate here, and they do not currently have a state license. They would like to apply for the license this year if it becomes available by the state. The plan would be to apply for a craft growing license, and then they said that they may look at doing some type of dispensary, but that would have to be approved. And on any of these special use applications, there can be contingencies, there can be conditions that are set by the council depending on what you are interested and not interested in doing.
Okay, I just had a follow-up. With regards to setbacks, isn't that, I guess I was under the assumption or impression that that was governed by state law. It's not?
No, that's correct.
Mayor?
Alderman Ross?
Yes, Director. Now, exactly, what do they want to do again? They want to, it's not going to be a retail store, right?
So there's someone interested in moving to the metal clad building that they would be a craft growing facility. The definition was included in the packet too, of what a craft growing facility can allow. I don't remember it off the top of my head, I'm sorry, but that they'd be interested in moving there to do that. They would potentially be interested in having a dispensary, but that would be something that the council could approve or could not approve.
So follow up. So this is a totally different company other than the company that's out there on Mill Rays.
Yeah, that's correct. And if they were to move into this space, you would see a special use application come in, and you would hear all the testimony from the zoning board public hearing and everything.
So they want to just basically start their own harvest and like Mill Rays Crossing and into this building here. Would that be the old Fairground building?
No, across the street. So it's it's the metal building that would be
The one with no
closer to
windows.
the railroad.
The one with no windows.
Okay.
It's currently being rented by Tony Alber, Tony Alber.
Pete.
Pete Alber, sorry. It's currently being rented by Pete Alber for storage space, but that's a year-to-year lease.
Okay. So they will be required for all the, whatever it takes, security and everything, to be in that building? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the state has some very strict security requirements for before a license can even be
Anything.
issued. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mayor,
Alderman Borneman?
I'm going to make a motion to approve or move this forward to the next meeting. And it is important to note that this isn't an application by any specific business. This is a request by the city that we amend our amendments. So we're not approving any specific business at this point. We're just making the law, changing the statute to allow for this type of cannabis business to potentially move into this area. So with that being said, I'm making a motion to approve this.
I'll second it.
Either one of us.
Madam Mayor,
Alderman Misick?
obviously with this motion, obviously this will have to go to second reading if we were to approve today. I did want to just comment on this, and my personal thoughts is, as we're looking to making amendments to this range, so ultimately any cannabis adult use facilities have, there are restrictions that Director Hines had shared with us, and I have some real concerns on the note of dispensaries and so forth to be in that range, and obviously these items would have to come back to council. I do fear, though, that opening the door on this is something that not to take lightly, and just for for the reasons that those restrictions exist. So really just to make note of that in my position, I would take this very seriously to say to only allow certain types of businesses in that case. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion, council? Well, we have a motion made by Alderman Borneman, second by Alderman Ross, to move ordinance 2021-17 on to the next regularly scheduled meeting. Item number 12 is the first reading of ordinance 2021-19. Madam Clerk, would you please read this?
Ordinance adopting the 2018 International Property Maintenance Code.
Thank you. Manager Bucus?
Thank you, Your Honor. The City Council adopted the 2012 International Property Maintenance Code, also known as the IPMC, in 2013. New codes are regularly released every 3 years, and it is our responsibility to consider these updates. Given that the IPMC standards have not been updated since 2013, we are considering the 2018 updates for adoption this year. The only major change from 2013 to 2018 are found in Chapter 7, the fire safety regulations, such as an increase in fire resistance ratings and fire protection systems, as well as the addition of carbon monoxide alarms and detections. The adoption of the 2018 IPMC was recommended by the Building Commission after they reviewed the updates on May 12, 2012, and staff recommends adoption of the 2018 International Property Maintenance Code and the amendment to Section 1480.01.
Questions, council?
Madam Mayor.
Alderman Busker?
Yes. Is this going to require sprinkler systems in homes?
No, it will not.
No? Okay.
Manager Bucus, what impact will there be to our small businesses? Does that mean they have to, or are they grandfathered in? What does that mean to expenses for them?
No, this is the property maintenance code. It's not the building code or the fire code. Even though they touch on sprinkler systems, it's not mandated that sprinkler systems be put in. And I believe that's what Section 1480.01 is taking out, is any requirement for sprinklers.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Alderman Busker?
Make a motion to move it forward.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor made by Alderman Busker, seconded by Alderman Ross, to move ordinance 2021-19 on to the next regularly scheduled meeting, unless there's something that someone else had to bring up yet. Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 13, which is the approval of the bid. Madam Clerk, could you please read this?
Madam Mayor, can I go back to Director Hines? Which board or commission voted 6-1? I'm not finding it in the notes.
That was the Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you. Okay. The bid opening on May 7th, 2021, demolition of 110 North Wilbur Avenue, the site of HB Plastics.
Director Hines.
Thank you. In late 2019, Council approved an agreement with the Illinois Department of Natural Resources for a flood hazard mitigation grant to purchase and demolish tax trustee properties and the HB Plastics building at 110 North Wilbur for open and green space areas. The council approved the purchase of the HB Plastics building in March, and we closed on the property on March 17th. The property was deeded to IDNR and will be deeded over to the city after the demolition is complete. And bid CD 002-2021 for demolition and asbestos abatement services was published April 23rd and sent to 14 different demolition contacts and opened on May 7th at 9 a.m. We received 10 bids for the project, and the lowest bid was Fisher Excavating at 100. Fisher is in good standing with the city, and they met all of our bid criteria. The demolition cost will be 100% covered by our IDNR grant. We have about $245,000 in available funds remaining for the demolition of the building. And We've asked that the contractor complete the demolition within 45 days of award and removal of our utilities. And our grant deadline is technically June 30th, but we have talked with with IDNR. They had caused some delay in our appraisal being reviewed last year, and so they're giving us some additional time to complete this. And so staff would recommend awarding the bid to Fisher for the $139,870. The strategic plan alignment is that it's connected, accessible, and safe communities, effective public-private partnerships, responsive, efficient government, and vibrant neighborhoods.
Director Hines, you said that this was 139,000, but we had 245 available. Does that mean that we get to spend the rest on other demolitions?
No, we can only use it on the properties that were approved when we submitted our grant application.
And that was the only one?
We had spent it on, so we did purchase, I think it was about 12 properties with this specific grant, and we had demolished, it was 2 or 3 last year with this one, and through the 2 IDNR grants that we had, we purchased about 76 properties through the tax trustee program total. So a lot of those ended up being vacant lots, but we did demo about 12 properties total with the 2 grants.
So then we still have that difference available for what you have
Yes.
in there, so there's possibilities of still some more coming out of that IDNR money?
So with the 245,000 that's left, we can only spend it on what was approved. So the HP Plastics building is the only one that's left at this point. So if there were any changes or any need for any additional work at the property, then this gives us some room in that sense, but we won't be able to use it on any other properties.
Madam Mayor,
Alderman Ross?
I'd like to move forward with the bid for the 139,000 for the demolition of property 110 North Wilbur.
Second.
For Fisher Excavating.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor made by Alderman Ross, seconded by Alderman Parker for approval of the bid. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Parker?
Aye.
Busker?
Aye.
Shadle? Meissick?
Aye.
Borneman?
Aye.
Monroe?
Aye.
And Ross.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Item number 14 is an approval of another bid. Madam Clerk, could you read this?
For the bid opening on May 7th, 2021, demolition of 5 properties.
Thank you. Director Hines?
Yes, so in an effort to reduce blight within the community, staff have identified properties in need of demolition, 5 of which are owned by the city now and can be demoed immediately. The cost to demolish the 3 of the properties will be covered by outside funds, while 2 will be funded by the Neighborhood Rehabilitation Fund. So bid CD003-2021 for demolition and asbestos abatement of the 5 properties was published April 23rd and sent to the 14 contacts, and then opened on May 7th. We received bids from 6 contractors, and 5 of which included both individual and lump sum pricing. Kleckner was the lowest bidder for 447 South Locust, 616 South Adams Avenue, and 15 South Sherman Avenue. JMP Trucking was the lowest bidder for 53 South Johanna Avenue, and Fisher was the lowest bidder for 444 through 446 South Liberty Avenue. So I put the funding for these properties on the bid tabulation. So 616 South Adams, we received $15,000 from insurance funds from the previous owner for the demolition of the property. And then for 15 South Sherman and 53 South Johanna, we have funds from the DCEO flood mitigation grant to demolish those 2. And so we'd recommend approving the bids at the lowest bidders.
Madam Mayor,
Alderman Ross?
I again like to make the motion to go ahead with the bids for the following excavating companies to move forward with it.
Second.
Any further discussion, council? We have a motion on the floor made by Alderman Ross, seconded by Alderman Busker for approval of the bids as stated. Madam Clerk, would you please take the roll?
Parker?
Aye.
Busker?
Aye.
Shadle? Meissick?
Aye.
Borneman?
Aye.
Monroe?
Aye.
And Ross.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. We'll move on to reports from department heads. Finance? Thank you. Community development? Thank you. Public Works?
Thank you, Your Honor. In the absence of the Public Works Director, I'd like to report that Cahoy Drilling, who was drilling our well number 11, had another issue with their equipment, so they kind of had to stop, and they're in the process of fixing it. They're at 1,150 feet, and they're supposed to go down to 1,300 feet, so they're 150 feet from meeting where they should be. So hopefully they'll get their equipment repaired and back in service this week. The lead service line replacements are going well. With the new requirements from the DNR, or IEPA, Illinois Environmental Protection Agency, it's taken us a little bit longer than we originally anticipated to replace some of the lead lines, because now we're taking them into the house, and so we're averaging about 3 a day, but it is moving forward. And the Empire Street project is moving forward. We've got most of the concrete work done, and once school's over with, we'll do the mill and overlay, and that'll probably take about a week or two to finish that project up. And that's all I have for tonight, Your Honor, for the Public Works Director.
Thank you. Fire Department?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just wanted to report out that we completed installation of all of our new tablets in the fire apparatus today with the First Due program. This is the pre-planning software and the inspection software that you authorized for us to purchase. This puts in the hands of our responders all of the information that we need to assist us in responding to calls for service, and then also puts our inspection program available via the web and goes paperless. So doing our part from a green perspective. So I wanted to thank the council for the support for this program and allowing us to purchase the materials that we needed to be more efficient and help us with that program. Thank you very much. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Police Department?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to report that the shot spotter system is up. It's working. It's helping us get to the areas quicker. Unfortunately, we've had several notifications on it, but it's helping our officers find the locations quick so they can gather evidence and do those things. So I just wanted to report that it's up, it's working, and we're getting good response from it.
Thank you. IT? Thank you. Library?
Thank you, Mayor Miller. I wasn't going to say anything about summer reading, but then I looked at the calendar and saw that the next time we meet, it's actually the first day of summer reading. So we are rapidly approaching. We have programs for kids and adults, and we have revamped with one of our new hires that started in February. She's been working really hard on a fully focused teen program for the young adults in our community, which is one of the weaknesses that we've had since I've started working here. So we're really excited about that. All of our programming is kind of in flux right now with the mandates and things changing. We're also rapidly changing some of our plans. So they will be indoors, outdoors, virtual, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you decide for you and your family. That's all I have.
Thank you. City Manager's report.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Greater Freeport Partnership received notice that they've been awarded a $2,500 grant towards our downtown pocket park. That's the property that's currently was sitting. It's a former 8-Bit Books and Hairways site. The money may not sound like a lot, but that was the maximum that they were able to get apply for, and they were awarded it, so that's good news. So we're moving forward with that program once all the demolition work is done. And then the number of Pretzel City Transit riders is increasing, and the Senior Resource Center is looking to hire a couple more drivers. They're also looking to bring back a few of their former drivers to do some van rides to help out with the riders, and they're also looking at hiring some dispatchers. We are still advertising for a communications director and a nuisance inspector ourselves, and we are planning a staff on the street program once again with some of the restrictions being lifted for Tuesday, June 22nd from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at the Madonna Renewal Center on South Walnut Street. Lastly, staff's been working with the county, with Stevenson County. We've been having discussions on extending water and sewer service out to the Mill Creek crossing. We are preparing a memorandum of understanding or an intergovernmental agreement for the services and how it's going to be financed. There will be no city money involved in the extension of this water and sewer line if it goes through, if the program goes through. And that's all I have for tonight, Your Honor.
Mayor.
Yes.
Manager Bucus, what was the amount of the grant that the GFP received?
$2,500.
Thank you.
Alderman Parker?
Question for the city manager. Received this letter here from Van Smith, as we all did, for they're removing all the parking on Chicago Street. Could you just short version of explain what project so the people will understand why they're being removed?
The Chicago Streetscape project started back in 2017 at least. It was in process when I came here in September, and I think that's when the City Council approved the project. Originally, it was planned to do it in phases over a number of years, but because we were able to obtain an Opportunity Zone grant for $1.9 million, and State Senator Brian Stewart obtained a grant for us for $1 million, we were able to move that project forward, and basically we're going to try to do it all at one time next year in 2022. That plan, the concept plan had removing parking on the east side of the street from basically Jackson to Clark, and putting a bike lane on the east side, and then realigning the parking on the west side and also having a bike lane there. There's going to be streetscape improvements, including furniture, trees, new lighting, the above ground wires, not only electric, but other utilities that are above ground will then be placed underground. We're looking at replacing an 1880s water line that runs down runs down Chicago Avenue as well as doing sewer improvements. So it's a complete streetscape, a complete street reconstruction overall.
Thank you.
With regards to parking, the plan isn't to remove all parking, it's just the east side is parking, correct?
That's correct.
Of Chicago, and you said the west side of the street the parking's gonna be realigned. What do you mean by that?
Well, we're looking at putting some bump outs in and stuff just to make it safer for people to be able to pull in and pull out, kind of like we have now on Main Street. And well, we don't have. Yeah, I guess we do have a couple on Stevenson, right? Yeah.
Will spots be added to the west side of Chicago Street to make up for the spots that are being lost on the east side?
No, there'll still be the same number of spots.
Okay. So overall, when it's accurate that there'll be an entire loss of the east side parking due to a bike path?
It's not due to the bike path, it's due to the whole reconstruction of the road and trying to make things safer and bring people into the downtown by a different means. It'll be tying in with the Jane Addams Trail program as well.
Is the bike path, it's fair to call it a bike path, that's what it is on the east side? Am I using the right terminology?
Bike lane.
Bike lane, okay. Is that instrumental to any of the funding of the grant? Like if that were removed, would we not be able to proceed with the grant?
That was in all the plans that we submitted. That was the concept that we submitted when we applied for the funds.
Okay, because earlier in the week, I was under the understanding that the west side of the street would somehow add spots. That's not the case?
Not to my knowledge. No. No.
Okay.
The plans haven't been drawn yet. I mean, a lot of people think the plan's been drawn. We haven't started the plans yet because we've been meeting with the downtown businesses. We got another meeting with them tomorrow. We kind of split not downtown, but the Chicago Street businesses because we wanted to have one-on-ones with them. And so we've been meeting with them. And, we do have some of the downtown, Chicago Street, that wrote letters of support for this project. And, you know, when you look at the parking issue, and I agree, you know, parking is an issue, but we've got 190 spaces in our municipal lot across from the post office that parking lot's, you know, never filled, and we've got spots on State Street as well. So, I mean, parking is an issue, but it's only in the mind of the person that thinks so. I mean, if you look at Walmart, and you place Walmart over our downtown, you'll find that Walmart almost covers our entire downtown. That if you go out 7 spaces from the front door of Walmart to the back of Walmart to the food area, you're looking at about 427 feet you have to walk. Our city blocks are just about 400 feet. So you're walking almost a block just to get to buy your milk when you go to Walmart.
Okay, what about a lot of the questions, or one question that we've received a lot is, couldn't the bike path be placed on, or the bike lane be added on State Street and not Chicago Avenue where there's more businesses? Is that?
Well, the thing is, you want to bring people downtown. You want to bring people to the businesses, and to say that there's not enough businesses on State Street, that's why the bike lane should go. Well, then you're just defeating your purpose to put the bike lane in to bring people downtown.
Is that, like I said though, is that a possibility since the plans haven't been drawn yet to add the bike lane to a different street, or no?
Well, you could always put another bike lane on State Street, or you could take the bike lane off of Chicago. That's up to you and the rest of the city council when we come together with the final plans.
When
You have to remember, Alderman Borman, this was a concept that was approved in 2017. It wasn't nothing set in stone. It was a concept. So that's why it's important to get the public input, the business owners' input. So that's what our community development director has been doing. So we can adjust accordingly.
When do you anticipate having the final concept presented to us?
This fall.
Okay, thank you.
We're looking at a project for next year, so, in 2022.
Madam Mayor,
Alderman Ross?
during this park, Director Bucus, when it comes to the parking spaces, have anyone looked into how many handicap spaces may be lost?
I don't believe we have any handicap spaces on Chicago Avenue.
That whole area from Jackson to Clark?
Mhm.
Okay.
And if there were, we could always put them on Main, Stevenson, Exchange, whatever.
Okay.
Any other questions for Manager Bucus for his report? Then I just have a couple things I wanted to bring to the council's attention, just some information that was released today. Fully vaccinated people in Illinois will no longer be required to wear face coverings in most situations under the governor's new rule that was issued this afternoon. So putting the state of Illinois in line with the new federal guidance by the CDC. Stevenson County's positivity rate as of last Friday was 5.4%. On Sunday morning, it was reported that 73% of the county's residents that are 65 and older have received at least one vaccination shot, as well as nearly 35% between the ages of 16 and 64 with one vaccination shot. The Illinois National Guard will be at Highland Community College on May 22nd, which is this coming Saturday, to give second doses to residents. I believe most of them have been contacted concerning their second dose, but there will also be 200 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine for anyone that would like to just be a walk-in, no appointment that's necessary. Last week, it was reported that we had 284 vaccinations that were given, and 2 weeks ago, there were 720 vaccinations that were given. So a month ago, the demand outweighed the supply, and now apparently the supply is outweighing the demand. So if you are interested in getting that vaccine, please make yourself available for that at Highland this Saturday. Also this Saturday, on a lighter note, is our Wine Fest. So details and prepaid tickets are available at the Greater Freeport Partnerships website. So if you would like to partake of that in our downtown, that will be, I understand that there's approximately 200 tickets sold so far. So I believe that they are looking for greater numbers in that as well. So that's all I have for this evening. Council announcements. Alderman Parker, did you have something?
Nothing tonight, Rod.
Thank you. Alderman Busker?
We haven't heard this one in a while. Glad to report that tomorrow night will be the Fifth Ward Neighborhood Watch meeting for the first time in over a year. It'll be at the same place, the First Church of the Nazarene at Empire on Carroll, starting at 6 p.m. So anyone listening from the Fifth Ward or anyone that has concerns about the crime over in that area or have anything, just show up. Be glad to have you.
Thank you. Alderman Shadle. Thank you. Alderman Misick.
I'd certainly like to thank the departing aldermen, McClanathan and Brashaw, for their time of service, and to take this time to welcome our new aldermen. So we're just excited for the opportunity to work with both of you and really make positive change in Freeport. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Waterman.
Just welcome to the new aldermen on the council. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Monroe.
Nothing other than thank you.
And Alderman Ross.
No more than welcome new alderman, and Wednesday I'll get my second shot.
Thank you. So that leaves us with item number 20, which is public comments. Tommy, would you like 3 minutes?
I would thank Matt Summers for that award. He does a good job as the police chief. And want to congratulate Don Parker for alderman.
Thank you.
And we want to congratulate Jody Miller for mayor of Freeport and Debbie Anderson for doing the clerk.
Thank you, Tommy.
And we want to know, they're going to have that Memorial Day parade, or that's,
No, that was canceled.
and know about the youth of Chicago, huh?
Music on Chicago is happening the first Friday of June at the Art Plaza.
How is that Art Plaza? They got the update for it?
They're nearing completion. Thank you, Tommy. Lynn, would you like your 3 minutes?
Thank you. Hello again. My name is Lynn Folgate. I'm publicity chairman for Freeport Moose Lodge. When I finish, I will provide a copy of this talk so you don't have to take notes. I am speaking both for the Freeport Moose Lodge and the Moose International Fraternity. We have a special guest scheduled for Tuesday, November 8th. Our guest is Bruce Berger, Supreme Governor of the Loyal Order of Moose. We are extending another invitation to the Freeport City Council, Mayor, City Manager, alderpersons, police and fire chiefs, and their employees and directors, and their employees to join us for this meeting with Bruce. Of course, the city clerk and news media are also included in this invitation. I am sure you remember our first invitation to you special folks on December 1st, 2020. However, at that time, the coronavirus struck and that meeting was canceled to ensure that we did not spread COVID-19. So now that many of you have been vaccinated, we are hosting this informational meeting with Bruce. Obviously, as before, we need to know the number of meals to plan, so someone needs to call the number of those that will attend. Call by Friday, June 4th. We are closed Mondays. Call 232-1516 and give your name and the count of how many will be attending. We especially need the fire chief and police chief to attend, or one of their representatives, because we have some Tommy Moose to present to them. In case you don't know, Tommy Moose are a cuddly moose that can be given to kids at times when they may be in need of a special friendly moose. We are again inviting you to meet Bruce at Freeport Lodge 162 at 6 p.m. Tuesday, June 8th, for a complimentary full meal featuring roast beef and mashed potatoes and gravy at 6:30, followed by an introduction of Bruce and then his remarks. We are hosting this event in the bingo hall. That's the east room. You may enter by either main door east or main door west, or directly through the bingo room that's on the east side of the building. Please remember that Moose supports Moose Heart for children in need of a home. Moose Heart was established in 1913 is located 100 miles east of here. For the past 108 years, over 12,000 children have been cared for in loving homes called Moose Heart. These kids come from lost or broken homes and range in age from toddler through high school. If you know of children in need of a home, contact the Moose. Also on the Moose, I remind you that our Freeport Lodge has bingo every Wednesday at 6:30 and Sunday bingo by the Women of the Moose at 2 p.m. By state law, bingo is always open to the public, and it helps us support our children at Moose Heart. In closing, let me give you just some more facts about the Moose. The Moose was established 133 years ago in 1888 by John Jacob Henry Wilson in Louisville, Kentucky. The Moose International, besides the United States, it includes Canada and Great Britain. Finally, Freeport Moose 162 was chartered 111 years ago on September 20th, 1909, and is the oldest Moose Lodge in Illinois. It was first located downtown at 118.5 East Stevenson Street. That was upstairs for 8 years. The second move in 1917 was a new 3-story building at 103 East Main Street. That since it's fallen down. The third move in 1970, the lodge built a new building east of town in Lancaster Heights at 2342 Kenneth Drive, just off Highway 75. After 31 years, the lodge moved back to Freeport in 2001. It has been as our fourth and present location for 20 years. The current address is 601 East South Street. Thank you for your attention. Now I have a copy for each of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Are there any other public comments this evening? Oh, you have one to read in? Okay.
I have a letter from Mr. A. Van Smith of Smith's Perfect Image at 17 Chicago Avenue. Dear Mayor Jody Miller and City Council members, I understand next year they are going to remove 41 parking spaces on Chicago Avenue, all on my side of the street. This comes as a big shock to me. Downtown is falling apart fast enough now. You want to further drive people out of the downtown by removing parking for our customers. No one on our street seems to want that. I personally have a bad case of neuropathy, so I have a handicap placard for my car. So now where am I going to park to be able to work? This is going to have an effect on both sides of our stores in this area and all of the downtown. We cannot afford to lose parking. Half of the people that come in my shop complain about not being able to find a parking space. If one bike goes by my shop in a month, that is a lot. I sincerely will hope that you will reconsider and retain parking on both the east and west sides of Chicago Avenue. My barber shop is Smith's Perfect Image and is located at 17 South Chicago Avenue. I've been running my barber shop for 63 years and plan on doing so for another 10 years. If you remove parking from this block, you may force me to close my shop. There are only 4 barber shops left in Freeport as it is. Sincerely, A. Van Smith.
Thank you. That leaves us with item number 22, which is adjournment. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion made by Alderman Parker, seconded by Alderman Monroe. Madam Clerk, could you please take the roll?
We only need a voice vote on this, I believe.
All right.
Are you okay with that?
I am a few attorneys. Yep. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Have a good evening. Thank you.